Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. So before I begin with the show topic that I have, I want to make sure that I let you know that beginning next week, the recording schedule is going to wind up changing a little bit. I'm going to do my best to put out a show Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But again, the schedule is going to wind up changing a bit because, well, the New Hampshire legislature begins their legislative committee hearings on Tuesday, and, well, I'm also a lobbyist. You can find out more about my lobbying work at libertylobby.info. So on most Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and possibly some Thursdays, I'll actually be up in Concord at the State House, specifically in the Legislative Office Building, which is behind the State House. But I'll be there doing lobbying work, trying to get more pro-freedom legislation passed and defeat the anti-freedom legislation. So again, I'm going to do my best to get a show out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I might wind up recording the Wednesday AMAs either Monday afternoon or Tuesday evening. I don't know yet. I'll play it by ear early next week, and see how I want to do that. But again, you'll still get, hopefully, 3 shows per week. And again, you can find all of those at fppradio.com. So I've got an interesting story that I actually, instead of, going from the bottom of my show prep folder up, I decided, you know what, I've got some older stuff. Let me go up in the folder a little bit and pull something out. So I've got something, again, this has been in for a while. It's not the oldest item in the show prep folder, but it's been there for a while, and it's kind of a good follow-up to the question that I answered this past Wednesday about the technology, specifically AI. Well, this is 10 ways that technology can make your life easier and more secure. And, well, I'll disagree with some of these things that they mention here, but the article comes from LifeHack.org. The author begins, "Technology has changed the world and our individual lives in a virtually countless list of ways. Despite this, it is still common for people to bemoan these achievements. Additionally, news outlets like to speculate about the danger of robotics," and they link over to an article from the BBC with the headline, "The Danger of Trusting Robots." Now, I might actually wind up getting into, or you know what, I'll actually go ahead and read the first paragraph here. This is from August of 2015. The story begins in February, so February 2015. A South Korean woman was sleeping on the floor when her robot vacuum ate her hair, forcing her to call for emergency help. It may not be the dystopian future that Stephen Hawking warned us about, but where intelligent devices spell the end of the human race. But it does highlight one of the unexpected dangers of inviting robots into our lives. Now, there's definitely more into this article, and as I said, I might delve into this. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But the article from LifeHack continues, "With all this negativity, it's easy to forget about the perks associated with technology, including the fact that LifeHack and the entire internet wouldn't exist without it. And of course, this show would not exist without it. Therefore, it's a good idea to take a few moments to recognize a few pieces of technology that are dedicated solely to making life easier and more secure." And what I'm interested in is the more secure part. Because, a lot of times people will say, oh, this smart tech, it's, going to save humanity so much time. Okay, so what am I going to do with those 5 extra seconds that the coffee maker just decides to start itself? Well, what do I do with those 5 extra seconds? Waste it on Facebook? Well, that's not making my life necessarily better, and it sure isn't making my life more secure. The article continues, without these advancements, everything from deadly illnesses to identity theft would be much more prevalent, although a lot of times technology makes identity theft even easier. I saw a headline earlier today, and I realized this wasn't identity theft, but it was someone hacking or cracking into emails from the DNC. Apparently, John Podesta had his password set to, wait for it, password. Yes, that's right. The password for John Podesta's email was password. And when I saw that, I was reminded of the scene from Spaceballs, where there was some space lock on, I forget what the name of the planet was, but the lock was set to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the guy said, that sounds like the code some idiot would use on his luggage. And then some guy said, excuse me, while I go change the code on my luggage. So, yeah, having your password set to password or password 1 is probably the least secure password that you could use, other than possibly incorrect. And the reason I say that is there's the joke, I set all of my passwords to incorrect. That way, if I forget it, the website will tell me your password is incorrect. And, oh yeah, there we go, it's incorrect. But anyway, those are absolutely horrible passwords that do not make you more secure. So sometimes technology actually winds up making you less secure. But what are some ways, and again, this according to LifeHack, they have 10 ways that technology can make your life easier and more secure. Number 1 on their list is improved healthcare. Technology and healthcare go together better than peanut butter and jelly. In fact, the tech world has boosted healthcare so much that it would be impossible to list all of the positive changes that have been made in the last year alone. However, the invention of apps and wearables that help people monitor everything from their blood sugar level to their pulse rate is definitely one of the best healthcare-related technological breakthroughs of the past decade. Patients are now able to report data remotely to their doctor, and they can also keep a closer eye on medical conditions. There's more when we come back here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
And as I said, I'm going to disagree with some of what they have written here. They're talking about all the benefits of the smart tech in the healthcare field, but they don't look at the negatives. And I forget exactly where the story came from, but I believe I heard it on an episode of Sex and Science Hour, where apparently some woman's smart vibrator was sending information that she didn't necessarily want going out. And then there's also smart tampons that can send out information. And what happens when some company gets a hold of this and then they wind up contacting your health insurance company and saying, hey, so-and-so is using this X number of times per week or day or something, and we think that that's a medical problem, you should have a chat with them and maybe wind up doing a psych evaluation. What happens when your Fitbit winds up reporting you didn't walk enough today and your healthcare rate winds up going up? What happens when the smart tech turns against you? Well, they don't answer that here in LifeHack, but it's definitely things to wind up keeping in the back of your mind. Number 2, and they have a little bit more written about the benefits, what they say are the benefits of smart tech with improved healthcare. Number 2 is the one that I'm really interested in. And unfortunately, they don't mention my preferred, safer online payment method. But that's number 2, safer online payments. Everyone has heard of the rise of identity theft and cybercrime, but there are many ways for internet users to protect themselves. They say, for example, the Apple Pay app allows users to store their credit card data and other personal information in one secure resource that you better hope nobody winds up cracking into your account and then having access to. From there, users can make payments from their phones or online by validating the process via their fingerprint, and there are problems with that as well. There was something on Mythbusters several years ago where they showed that some of the fingerprint devices can be fooled fairly easily if you're able to lift the fingerprint of your target. Other methods for protecting payment data include utilizing services like PayPal. No matter what option you choose, this type of technology can help keep your information secure while also presenting an easier payment method at the same time. Now, my preferred online payment method is, if you've listened to the show before, you can probably guess, that's right, Bitcoin. The decentralized, anonymous, or pseudo-anonymous cryptocurrency that allows you to send money anywhere in the world for pennies. And now there's, been some, not necessarily issues per se, but there have been some debates over increasing the block size and allowing for cheaper payments and faster payments. And I'm not going to get into all of the various, things that have been discussed because I don't necessarily understand them. And that's one of the beautiful things about Bitcoin. You don't have to understand all of the inner workings of it. Just like with cash, how many people that say, oh, well, I don't understand that Bitcoin stuff, so I'm just going to use cash. If you ask them, well, how does a dollar wind up being created? Well, I don't know. I just know it works. Well, that's kind of the same thing. Bitcoin works. I can tell you, here's the app. Here's the actual, what happens when I want to send a payment to Local Burger when I buy some Captain Crunch chicken and an order of sweet potato fries. They pull out a tablet, open up the Bitcoin receiving app, type in, $15 and some change. I have my Bitcoin app pulled up. I scan their QR code, swipe the little thing to send, and then, within like a second, they wind up getting, ding, payment received. That's all you really need to know. If I were to ask you, how does a credit card work? You couldn't tell me, most likely, but you still probably wind up using it. So the I don't understand how it works argument for not using Bitcoin doesn't fly when people use other technologies that they don't understand how it works. Number 3 on the list, they say that technology can help with your grocery shopping. And actually, one of the local grocers where I live in New Hampshire implemented this thing a while back that they call Hannaford Go, where apparently you can go onto the website and click, here's all the things that I want to buy. And then when you get to the store, they'll have those already pulled off the shelf for you, and you just pay and then pick it up and go. So, that kind of makes your life easier. It doesn't make your life secure, per se. And I really don't know how many people utilize these online shopping things. But let's delve into what they have written here on LifeHack. They say, are you too busy to spend an hour? Who spends an hour at the grocery store every week is what I first want to know. But they say many stores are now offering online shopping and curbside pickup. Not only does this help busy parents, but it also provides a huge relief to people with autism and other sensory processing complications. To make a good thing even better, stores such as Kroger keep a log of each purchase in the user's account so that they can easily repeat an order with a single click. Now, again, this makes your life easier. I don't think it makes your life more secure. But they do say from a security standpoint, parking lots are one of the most common spots for abductions and sexual assaults. Not having to get out of your vehicle will make you much more secure, especially if you keep your doors locked while you wait for the store employee to bring the groceries to your car. But if you're that worried about, being abducted or assaulted in a parking lot, you probably should not leave your house in the first place and utilize something like Amazon to where they can just ship the stuff to your house and you never have to go outside. Isn't that wonderful? And there's smart refrigerators that can just automatically reorder stuff for you. Isn't that great and wonderful? Yeah, except for when you don't want it to reorder something. But I digress. Number 4, and speaking of smart tech, number 4 on the list here is the rise of smart cities. If you're concerned about being eco-friendly, yet you also want to embrace technology, a smart city may be the perfect choice for your next move. These cities are designed to take advantage of technological knowledge in order to reduce each building's consumption of natural resources. And again, there are problems here to where you might wind up being the slave to the technology. We'll talk about it here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And we're talking about 10 ways that LifeHack says technology can make your life easier and more secure, and, well, I don't necessarily agree. Now, there are a couple of things that they do mention here. Safer online payments. Yep, absolutely. Bitcoin is a safe way to send an online payment. Online grocery shopping, yeah, that will save you some time. And then there's also, like Five Guys. You can go onto their website, order your food, and then, go down to the store, pick it up, boom. A lot of pizza places and Chinese restaurants allow you to place orders online. So there's that, but they also mention online grocery shopping. The rise of smart cities, and they're saying that apparently there are smart cities that are designed to be eco-friendly. Seeing key data about water usage and electric consumption on a single dashboard installed in your home or business is definitely a good way to ensure that you meet your eco goals. Now, what happens when the smart tech decides you've used enough electricity this month, Dave? I'm sorry, Dave. I can't let you use any more electricity. I'm sorry, Dave. You can't use any more water. You've surpassed your water quota. Or not quota, quota. Like, you've used too much. Can't let you do it. And then, again, you wind up basically being the slave to technology. Number 5 here, they say, reduce wasted resources with used items. The internet makes it possible to find almost anything you could possibly think of. Even better, most of these items and services can be rented or purchased used. This is a great way to save money, but it also goes much further when you consider how much waste is kept out of the landfills with this option. So they're talking about things like FreeCycle and Craigslist. So again, yeah, it's a way that technology can help you, but again, this doesn't necessarily make you, quote-unquote, more secure. Number 6, and this is something that I find fairly interesting, especially since I started getting back into shape a couple of years ago, exercise incentives. Exercise may not be easy, but doing it on a regular basis can offer you a more secure future in the sense that you will be less likely to deal with crippling physical issues. Innovative companies have recognized the need to offer a strong exercise incentive to help people help themselves. Now, this is not where I thought they were going. I use a couple of different exercise apps. I use Fitness Point Pro. Now, there's a free version, but there's also the pro version that's like $3 for the upgrade. Interval Timer for HIIT workout. HIIT is high intensity impact training. So it's where you go really fast or really hard, really fast for a short burst of time, about 20, 30 seconds, and then you have a rest, and then you go really hard again, and then you have a rest. And this timer is absolutely amazing because you can set it to say, I want to do this exercise, and have it tell you which exercise to do. That way you're not remembering, wait, what am I supposed to be doing right now? It will tell you. Do leg press. Rest. Do calf extensions. Rest. Do leg press. Rest. Clean the leg press machine. Go to this next machine. Do this. Rest. Do this. Rest. Clean this machine. Rest. Grab your mat for your bent knee hip raises. Put away your mat. Go here, do this. So it makes that high-intensity impact training really useful. And I like to listen to podcasts when I exercise, and it will just talk right over the podcast. It's great. And the Fitness Point Pro, it allows you to wind up putting in, here's the exercises that I want to do. And then you manually enter, here's the weight I did, here's how many reps, and, enter. I did a second set, enter. I did a third set, enter. And both of these things, unfortunately, they don't, wind up combining the data. But I've got a couple different workouts that I do, and I use both of those for that. Then there's also Map My Run, where if you like to go walking or running or biking and you want to time yourself and your distance, you can use something like Map My Run, and it will keep that data for you. So digressing from that, let's continue with item number 7, telecommuting opportunities. Do you prefer the idea of working from home? There are many perks to doing this, including reducing your carbon footprint, saving money on gas, and having a lower risk of being in an auto accident. Thanks to high-speed internet, laptops, smartphones, and project management software, 45% of U.S. employees are now able to telecommute at least part of the time instead of driving through rush hour traffic and arriving at the office frazzled. These workers can minimize their stress, increase their productivity, and work comfortably in their pajamas or their favorite pair of jeans, or no pants at all if that's what you prefer. Number 8, and again, this is something that makes your life easier, but not necessarily more secure. Instant answers to everything. Everyone has thought of a random question or gotten into a debate about whether or not something actually happened. Before the internet, these questions and debates could last a long time, and there is often no clear answer. Now, though, you can look anything up on Google and get instantaneous results. This has definitely made life easier, and it's also a great educational tool for people of all ages, and I'll share my first experience with the internet when we come back here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic. Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com.
Hi, this is Davi Barker from ShinyBadges.com, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
So in 1995, or possibly early 96, it was during my senior year of high school, nonetheless, the librarian said, we have this wonderful new thing called the Internet. It allows you to look up information and help you figure out what book you want to use. And I was like, why do we need this? I know how the card catalog works. And so I just went back over to the card catalog, and I, right now, 20 plus years later, could not tell you how the card catalog works. And I don't know if anybody that's in school right now even knows what a card catalog is. But that was my first experience of, why do I need this? I've got this. Well, I've got to say the internet makes research a hell of a lot easier instead of having to dig through, outdated books. Because the way information is, by the time something gets put into a book, it's probably already outdated. And there's a lot of times, as soon as a news article is put up on a website, it might be outdated. That's just how quick information, and events actually happen. But 20 years ago, you were okay with that because you didn't realize how fast news could travel. The time savings alone include, or rather of finding something online versus having to make a phone call or go to the library, is huge. But don't forget that you can expand upon the quick answer the internet provides by reading books dedicated to the topic in question. Number 9, technology helps you bring families together. And they mention things like email, Skype, text, FaceTime, and other social networks. Facebook, they say, or rather, studies have shown that people who use Facebook on a regular basis have a 10% increase in the closeness of their connection to family and friends. And I don't really know, because it seems to me a lot of people will, spend time with their online friends and not really get out and have FaceTime, like actual face-to-face, real-time interactions with people. So I don't know if that's actually true about the increased closeness. And number 10, GPS. Makes it incredibly difficult to get lost. We've all heard horror stories of people making a bad driving decision due to the instructions from their GPS. But these incidents are definitely not the norm. Instead, GPS gives us step-by-step voice directions to get from point A to point B. Now, I remember having to pull out the atlas, or when internet directions first came out, printing them out and then hoping that you followed them very closely. Hey, this has been Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Don't forget, every Wednesday I answer your questions. Send those over, ama@fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.